Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wedding MBA podcast. We talk to the amazing presenters and educators and experts that grace our stages at the Wedding MBA conference, which this year, 2026, will be November 17th through the 19th at the Las Vegas Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. And you want to get your tickets as quickly as you can because they get more expensive the closer we get to the conference. So go to weddingmba.com, click on purchase your tickets, and you know what? Save yourself some money. Use the discount code CLINT. It's my name, CLINT. You put that in the discount box, you will get $20 off your purchase. All right, here we go. Today's guest. She's part of the First Timer Club. It's the first time she's going to be speaking at the Wedding MBA conference, and it's the first time that she's on the podcast. She is Irene. Irene, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. And you?
Oh, my life is fantastic. Thank you. Irene, tell everybody where you are and what you do.
Yes, my name's Irene. I'm the creative director at Irene & Co. Events, and I have an office in Connecticut, New York, and Utah as a planning and design firm.
Wow, three offices. La-di-da.
Mhm.
If you're attending the Wedding MBA conference for the first time, do yourself a favor, kind of get a jump on the schedule. And the way you do that is you go to weddingmba.com, click on seminars, and then you'll see a little link that is to the PDF. And that's what you want because that's where all the really good information lies. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If you go to that PDF and you scroll all the way down to Thursday, you will see a specialty group. And a little explanation, we have two basic types of sessions. We have what we call the general sessions, which is for everybody. And then we have the specialty groups, which is specifically designed for vendor categories. So obviously this one is for planners and designers. At 3 o'clock on Thursday, you will see Daydream Believer, turn creativity into profit. Who doesn't want to do that? And that's with Irene. All right. We've set the table. Irene, jump in any way you want to. Tell us what you're going to be talking about.
I'm super excited to be welcome to MBA. So thank you so much for having me. We're very honored to be there. My talk is really simple, actually. It's truly about how designers and planners can turn their creativity into actual money and actually being able to build a business they're proud about and a portfolio of their absolute dreams.
All right. How do you do that?
There's a couple different ways that you can approach this. For me, I think at first you need to start with a communication. If you're not understanding your visuals and you're not presenting your visuals appropriately, no one is going to trust you. A client is literally buying an empty space, an empty room, a blank canvas, and your word. So your word better really mean something, and you better really prove that all these cool ideas that you can come up with in your head visually to them so they can actually say yes and put their money where their mouth is and create something just so magical for everyone to experience.
You have already put this into practice. So tell us about your process and how you create something that the client can see and connect with. Oh, and
Absolutely.
I want to say hi to your dog in the background.
My
Hi there.
lovely dog is in the office today. Her name is Willow. We love her.
Oh, hello,
Um,
Willow. Welcome aboard.
First, it really starts with give yourself a lot of confidence. I think if you're not believing in what you're selling, whether it's your price point, your ideas, or you're scared or hesitating in any way, no one else is going to believe in you. So, really building that confidence first so you're able to have that communication skill is step one from the beginning level. I think step two, you've got to build a belief system. Think about it as building like an architect. Like, start from the ground floor. What does this mean? What does it look like? What are the materials? Different things of that nature that are really going to start weighing people to buy in. You can't just jump the gun and go straight to a massive rendering or a very cool model or scale model of something because no one has bought into your belief that this can actually be real and happen. Once you get in their buy-in and excitement and their understanding and they just can't wait to see it, that's when you introduce a 3D rendering and a design model.
So what kind of words do you use in order to communicate the vision?
I think it's very important to be empathetic in communication and really listen more than you're talking. Your clients are going to give us the words and the psychology that you're going to need in order to reflect it back to them and insert your own design skills and your opinions throughout. So it's not necessarily about using, oh, we can only say elevated as opposed to luxury or red as opposed to burgundy. It's truly about being reflective listening, understanding their priorities, and then being very sneaky with visuals and introducing texture and layers and different chargers and colors because they don't know what they don't know. until you show them.
I've seen some planners or some designers will have kind of like a little folder that will show colors and maybe even samples of linens and that sort of thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, starting with visuals in person is always great at a mock-up. Even going from a vibe check to a mood board to a 2D design to a 3D design is much stronger of a process, which is a lot of the things we'll go into at my talk at MBA of how that process works and what tools I'm using to really close that deal.
We have to talk about the tools that you're using because everyone wants to know what's the inside scoop. What can I do to enhance my business? And we're all wanting the new shiny object. But if that shiny object is going to bring us money, then we need to kind of put it out there. So go ahead.
I think in terms of the full list of tools, you'll have to come to my talk on Thursday at 3 at Wedding MBA. But some of the tools that we've been using include, of course, Canva and Mary from TripleSeat, but then also a new architectural platform called Rendify that we've been using to our advantage that has been absolutely game changing.
So how many steps? You talked about how you have to have confidence is step one. And then number two, you have to start creating whatever the thing is. And then at some point, you're going to have to start showing it to people. So walk me through that process and however many steps it takes until you finally, you mentioned a 3D rendering, until you finally get to that point.
I think creating confidence in other people and buying into the belief system takes time and practice. And you're going to get good at it the more you do it. And it's okay at first glance to fall on your face. So the key is to really have options. If the client says, I want to have a blue wedding, what does blue mean to them? Giving them a wide range of options when it comes to linens and color palettes of blue, so we can really hone into what they're really thinking. Going through that process of elimination and giving them the opportunity to express their opinions, but also slightly insert your own style. You are a planner and designer because you are creative. You have a point of view. You have an opinion. You're an artist as well, and it's okay to have tendencies and opinions and a style that makes you unique. And you can obviously suggest that to your clients as well. That's why they hired you, and that's why they love you in the first place.
So give me an example of how you interject that into the conversation or into the process.
How about I show you instead of tell you?
Oh, I like this. So those of you who are on audio only, it's okay. We're going to describe everything to the best of our ability.
In my office, I have, oh my gosh, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. My kids will attest to you. They love to play colors with me and organize things. When they say they want a, let's go with blue for the sake of the argument, a blue wedding, let's actually look at it. Let's think of it like you're an architect. Stop thinking you're a planner.
Okay, wait a minute. What you're showing us now looks like I'm going to go look for paint for my living room because it's
exactly.
These are
paint swatches.
There you go, paint patches. Okay, great.
You don't need to be looking for something fancy. These are free at most paint stores. Start here. Get them to really define what blue they're going for. They said, okay, great. I choose this kind of navy blue. We're going to go coastal on some things, right? Then they say, well, you know what? I really actually want to do some draping with that. Okay, perfect. Let's go with some draping. We can always go with a very traditional cloud white.
Okay, now you're holding up a card that shows drapery or linen patches. Where did you get that?
Oh my gosh, these are from a lot of trusted partners. This specifically is from Drape Kings. These are all of the draping that you can get at full scale for large draping and curtains and things like that. And then paint samples from your local Benjamin Moore store is my favorite. And then getting into linen samples. Oh my gosh, this one's from Reverie, but we partner with so many. Creative, BBJ, Nuage, Specialty. There are so many out there, and these are all readily available to you as a designer and planner. It's fun to have them, but it's better to have them as visuals for your client to really start putting something together. And even here just now, I loved how you got excited of just like, wait, where we're going with this. That's how your clients should feel, that they're excited to touch it, to feel it and understand it, so you can get to the end result with way more confidence.
You know what I like about this is that in the world of AI, which is obviously developing by the second, you're having tactile things with a human experience. I really like that a lot. And what I'm hearing you say is that if you have these tools in your toolkit, things that you can actually pull out and let the client touch them and see them and that sort of thing, it helps the process to getting to the final realization and hopefully the contract. Did I hear that right?
Absolutely. You're not going to get to a final 3D rendering for their approval for these giant 15-foot trees if they don't even understand and can touch and feel and be emotional about the project first. AI is fantastic. I use it in my business in certain aspects, but it's a tool and it should not be replacing design. You should really be finding the things that make you unique and be able to express your opinions.
What about showing them the vision of the space? We've talked about the materials, we've talked about the paint colors, and we've talked about the linens and that sort of thing. But how do you describe or how do you create that connection with the client about what the space is going to look like?
Absolutely. So we start with a 2D rendering. This is all flat, basic layouts. These are the guest counts. These are the chairs. This is why we can't have 150 versus 100 in a space. Then we'll go into a 3D layout. By picking all of these assets ahead of time, I'm actually able to give it to my 3D rendering designers over at Rendify, and they can make a full-on 3D model in any venue that I need to with the exact colors and the exact material that I'm actually going to go rent or I'm going to go custom fabricate for my client. So they are no longer just looking at a tiny little swatch. They're looking at a full-blown room, a promise that you've given them when they signed a contract for the blank space, and all of the emotions that come with those decisions, almost virtually. But then when they see it in person, they know what to expect. They sign contracts easier, and you're able to elevate your brand and your designs from a DIY lower market to possibly a luxury market or at least a mid-level market, and make those steps incrementally as you go on in your career.
Okay, now finally, I just want to make sure I understand what a 3D rendering looks like and what it's like to interact with it. So, what I imagine is on a flat screen on your computer, but it looks like an animation, almost like, well, the first thing that comes to mind is Minecraft. That's the first thing that I visualize in terms of 3D objects that you can move around and that sort of thing. But also, correct me if I'm wrong, but can you move through the space? If you're going to show an entire ballroom that's all fitted out with the chairs and the tables and the dance floor and the where the entertainment is and all that kind of stuff, can the client, once they get into that space on their computers, that they can actually move from one end of the room to the other and virtually walk between the tables? Is it that kind of a thing?
Having creativity meets logistics is exactly what we're going for. There are photos and stills that are easily shareable, but they are come in videos as well, where you can virtually walk through the entire space. It's also very helpful when you're talking about, hey, I can't fit this because it'll make this table too close to the bar. By showing them, it makes the conversation much easier because it's no longer a hypothetical idea. They perfectly understand it, the argument stops, and you can move on in your planning process.
You know what I like about this is that we have acknowledged in a previous conversation, you and I, before we hit the record button, a lot of people have no imagination or their imagination is wrong. Like if you told me I have a 7-foot couch, where does that go? I have no idea what 7 feet is. I'm going to be guessing, and I'm sure it's going to knock over something. The fact that you're able to create something where the client can actually no longer rely on imagination or guesswork, but they can actually see how it all fits. And when you say you want this, but that's not going to fit in that, and you can actually show them, now you created real confidence. At least that's the way I'm hearing it. Does that make sense?
Having an argument that's based in facts and visuals will always let you win and be able to move on to further opinions and ideas rather than hypotheticals.
Oh, I love this. I think this is going to be great, Irene. I know people are going to want to reach out to you before the conference. What's the best way for them to do that?
Of course, DM me on Instagram, follow us there, Irene Co Events, on TikTok as well. And you can go to my website, www.irenecoevents.com.
Fantastic. Well, there you go, everybody. That's the way it works at the Wedding MBA conference. You can see we don't goof around. We want to give you the information that's going to help you grow your business in the way that you want to grow it. But it's not really going to do you any good unless you go to where the information is, and that's the conference. So go to weddingmba.com, click on purchase your tickets, use the discount code CLINT, CLINT, and you'll get $20 off your purchase. That's it for this episode of the Wedding MBA podcast. This is Clint, and on behalf of Irene, we will see you next time.